Melchizedek, king of righteousness and king of Salem. Salem is an old name for Jerusalem. Some authors, some authorities question that, but I think there's abundance of support that what was then Salem later becomes Jerusalem. And he's also a priest of the Most High God. Melchizedek, very interesting guy. Received tithes. It's the only mentions are the ones that we've just looked at. And it's going to be contrast to the Levitical priesthood. Melchizedek represents this. The Levitical priesthood, I put it this way, is a separation of both priesthood and kingship. When Reuben forfeits his birthright, his priestly role in the family goes to Levi, and his firstborn son status goes to Judah. So it gets split there, interesting enough. And the two elements by Melchizedek, I think, are fascinating. We could go on and on by that. But okay. Again, let's get back to Hebrews, believe it or not. Who in the days of his flesh, when he had offered up prayers and supplications with strong crying and tears unto him that was able to save him from death, was heard that he feared. And this, of course, is our high priest in view here. His request for deliverance was granted fully in his resurrection with his proclamation of the death defeated. You're looking at Gethsemane and all of that here. Melchizedek order. Even Abraham paid tithes. He blessed Abraham. He was a type of the priest that lives forever. Or that writer to Hebrews is going to make the point that Melchizedek in the biblical text has no parents and no death recorded. That doesn't mean he didn't die. There's just no death recorded. There's no birth because he's in there as a type. Okay? It's interesting that all through the scripture there are types of the bride of Christ. There's Ruth, the bride of Boaz, right? There's Eve, the bride of Adam. He's the first Adam, Christ the last Adam. You can go through every one of those in which the wife is a type of the church. There's 7 of them. In none of them is their death recorded. Well, do you mean they didn't die? No, of course they died. But in model, they're presenting as a type the bride of Christ, which of course doesn't die. Follow me? So Melchizedek is a type. Many people get confused by that. We'll get to that too. See, Levi, even though he wasn't born yet, paid him tithes because he's viewed as being in the loins of Abraham. And of course, the permanence of Christ's priesthood is implied by the abrogation of the Levitical system. That's what's going to come up here. Melchizedek was a priest without an oath and without an end. Not without an oath and without an end. Priest can neither be transmitted or interrupted by death, and so on. Okay, no record of birth or death by Melchizedek. Was he Shem? You'll find people, well, he was probably Shem, but Shem was still alive and all that. No, because we know Shem's genealogy. That would puncture the type here. Was Melchizedek an Old Testament appearance of Christ? There are people that suggest that. No, because Christ's priesthood is after the order, after the similitude of Melchizedek. You can't be the type and be it together. It's a contradiction in terms. The Melchizedek, a celestial being of some kind. No, he's a man. That's what Hebrews 7 is going to bring out. So just take it for what it is. He's a type. A mysterious type, but a fascinating type. And that type is emphasized by the writer to Hebrews. In chapter 7, we're going to really get into this. The king of righteousness and peace, all in Romans as well as Isaiah. His work will be righteousness and shall be peace. Righteousness, peace, and joy in Colossians. Made peace through the blood of Christ, justified by faith. See, Melchizedek is the king of righteousness.